Hello, and welcome to More Movies number 9. Welcome to the show. If you're joining us for the first time, this is More Movies Weekly. We like to talk about movies, films, all that sort of stuff. If you're revisiting us, coming back for another episode, welcome back. My name's Greg Fisher. I'm joined, of course, by the main man himself, El Capitan, Dave Roberts. How you doing, Dave?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, my friend. We got lots to talk about this week, so let's get straight into it. So, first thing on the agenda this week, we've been watching the 1985 classic crime thriller To Live and Die in LA. This is directed by William Friedkin. It stars William Peterson, Willem Dafoe, and John Pankow, amongst others. Very good film. Dave, did you enjoy it?
I did very much so. I thought I'd just mention at the beginning, I think this is one of them films where there's a lot of twists and turns and it subverts. So, if you haven't seen the film, go and watch it before you listen to us talk about it if you do want to see it, because it is a bit of a easily spoiled film, and we are just going to be talking about the plot. But yes, apart from that, yeah, brilliant film, very good, very gritty, very subversive, feels very much like 70s cinema, but also a very 80s film, but just in its style. I think it feels 80s, but thematically it's far away from that, you know. It's very much what Lethal Weapon should have been. You know?
To live and die hard in LA.
You really are crazy.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It is completely subversive in that it totally subverts audience expectations of this kind of movie. It's very intense. Like you said, it feels like a 70s film more than an 80s film. It's like a 70s film with 80s clothes on, really.
Yes.
I only seen this film for the first time fairly recently, as in within the last year or so. Obviously, we've done a rewatch to talk about it on the pod today. It's one of those I hadn't got round to, but I always wanted to. It was like, I've got to get hold of that. I've got to see what all the fuss is about. And I totally, thoroughly enjoyed it. It was everything you want from a great cop thriller, from an action film. You know, it's all in there. But like you said, it's completely subversive because there's stuff in there and you just makes your jaw drop and go,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, what you said about the 80s is on the nose as well. It's, I mean, with Wang Chung doing the soundtrack there, it doesn't get much more 80s than that.
All those synth kind of harmonies kind of lasering across the top of the film, really.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh, yeah, that's something.
It is very cool, isn't it?
It is. It's almost, I felt like, because it's very synth and, you know, that 80s thing, but it's almost like a church organ or something.
Right.
It kind of layers on top of it. It's quite ominous, isn't it?
Sure.
Over the top of it. And it's quite interesting in the way it falls into place.
Yeah.
And, you know, talking about 80s style, the look of the film is just, it's so interesting because you're kind of mixing, it is Miami Vice in that kind of, the clothes and the look of it, and it's LA, so you got the great setting anyway.
Yeah.
But with all those kind of sunsets and the way that the oranges fall across the picture, it's almost like a Western.
Oh, yeah, very much so.
That's really cool. But then you also get, like, in the night time, you get all those neon signs and stuff like that, and the dark lighting inside and stuff, and the colours. It's very interesting to look at.
Yeah, interesting to look at and interesting to listen to. It is quite a singular film in its way. So to set it up a little bit for people, William Peterson plays Richard Chance. He is a Secret Service agent, and he is chasing down a bunch of counterfeiters that are making money, literally, making their own notes. They are led by Willem Dafoe, who is like, his character is quite interesting in it because he's kind of like an artist as well. He's like a painter and he does all this stuff, and hence he's very good at replicating dollar bills and, you know. But, you know, these guys aren't just making money, are they? They're really quite a nasty bunch, really nasty criminals. Like with like with a lot of people in William Friedkin films, they are, you know, he doesn't pull any punches, and these guys are a bit of a bunch of bastards, really. So Peterson's partner right at the start he gets offed, and therefore there's the motivation for the character that he basically gets worked up into a frenzy where he will stop at nothing to get these guys, so much so that he becomes a criminal himself, really, in terms of trying to catch them. You get to that point in the film where, to do the famous car chase on the freeway, and they ended up getting chased down by the FBI because they've basically unwittingly got involved in a sting operation, and they're being treated as if they're the thieves. So it completely turns on its head. The pursuer becomes the pursued. By that point in the film, you're just thinking, what is going on here? This is getting crazy. This is getting crazy.
Me too.
Yeah. And it's crazy.
It is crazy because it's such an intense film. The pace does not stop. It's not far into it, and you've got that little bit in the airport, and you've got John Turturro in there, and Peterson's chasing down Turturro in the airport.
And even at the beginning of that scene, because when he's at the counter, just as he gets there, the bad guy, and there's that tension before, is he going to get him? Is he going to catch him? Is it the right guy or whatever? And then it starts to chase. It's like,
as soon as he starts to run, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth mentioning as well that the airports, it was LAX, I think, or one of those LA airports, and they said, don't let him run on the Skyway like that again, because he did that sprint across the Skyway, And I think they were like, no running on the Skyway. Yeah, run on the Skyway again. It looked really cool. And then he did it, and they made sure they got it in that one take. And then obviously they just said, oh, sorry, I don't think he heard you. But that's such a cool bit in the movie. Just the way he's running, he's belting it, he's absolutely, he's fast as hell, and it's like, but yeah, it's incredible. And, William Peterson, he did 2 amazing films around this period. He did this one, and then he did Manhunter, which we also watched not long ago, the Michael Mann film, which was the original version of Red Dragon, the Thomas Harris novel featuring Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Obviously, in that film, he was played by Brian Cox, not Anthony Hopkins. But Peterson, going back to him in these 2 films, the most super cool police guy you could have in a movie in the 80s. A lot of people know Manhunter, and I think they appreciate it, and he's kind of famous for it. But To Live and Die in LA is a little bit lesser known and was possibly not as successful.
I think that the interesting thing with Peterson is that
Gil Grissom.
I know him very well from CSI, as Grissom, but I've not really seen him in anything else until recently.
He was in Young Guns 2. He played Pat Garrett. He's a little bit younger there as well. It's like sort of early 90s, I think. But no, you're right. He's known for CSI, probably by most people. But he's a little bit older then. He's like in his 50s and.
Oh, that's sanitary. Mustard.
He's like the head guy, isn't he? And he doesn't move very fast. Whereas in this film, he's like a whippet. He never stops. He's running everywhere. He's chasing people in cars. He's banging the steering wheel and chasing people the wrong way up the freeway. And it's just like, this guy he's hungry. You can tell as an actor, he was really hungry for this kind of role. And it comes across really well.
It's just interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of think, shame he didn't do more, because the 2 films, he's impressed me loads.
Oh yeah, me too.
And he's got all the characteristics of a leading man. And but talking of the car chase, I mean, that is something else, isn't it? In this, it's
well, I always thought, because it's William Friedkin, and the car chase in The French Connection was so famous. Because they, again, they did some naughty stuff there. They didn't get permissions. They just went for it.
Yeah.
People were nearly seriously injured on that shoot, which is obviously very naughty, but that's the way he did it then. But it's like Friedkin trying to outdo himself. What can we do that's crazier than The French Connection, where a car is chasing a train? Let's drive a car the wrong way up the freeway against oncoming traffic. So he's literally like, ah.
Well, apparently he said to the stunt coordinator, if you can make a car chase better than The French Connection, it's in the film, or else I'll cut it.
Wow. So, and it is a great
That's a
car
challenge.
chase. I mean, the whole piece goes on for what, 15 minutes from start to end.
Must do, yeah.
And it does not let up, and it gets more intense and more intense, and you're just like, whoa.
All through them alleyways and side streets.
And they are gunning
lorries
it.
coming out, and it's mental.
It is. And you keep thinking they're going to get murked at some point here. You don't think they're going to escape from it, because it's so intense. And every corner they turn around, there's another guy coming out with a machine gun and trying to pop them off and stuff.
And as we mentioned last week in the Friends of Eddie Coyle discussion, the physicality.
Yeah.
These are actual cars doing this crazy shit. It's so fun.
Burning rubber, screeching tires, smashing glass. You got to love it.
Just can't beat it.
No, you can't. These stunt drivers were excellent. They were really cool. But yeah, a really cool film, a really cool movie. At the time, it was criticized, I think, because it didn't have many known stars in it. Like William Peterson was an unknown at the time. John Turturro hadn't really done much at the time, but these are people that have gone on to become quite notable figures afterwards. Willem Dafoe as well. It was one of his earliest movies. Nobody really knew him. He is brilliant. He's always brilliant. I really love Willem Dafoe, and it's nice when he plays a bad guy as well, because he can play a good guy, and you always get behind it. But he's got something about him that's very good as a bad guy.
Yeah, and I love the film because it's just like those neo-noir films in the 70s, which is very much what it's like thematically. It's very fatalistic. It's, this ain't going to be happy for anyone. Everyone's dying left, right, and centre. The informant, who he sleeps with and has a relationship with, played by Deborah Feuer, it's fascinating because he treats her like shit.
Yeah.
He's a bastard to her.
He is, yeah.
And that's not the behaviour of your protagonist,
no.
Good guy, in most films. So it's very subversive and different in that way,
It's almost more sort of honest, more realistic, that
it's real.
This kind of character who is only concerned with his obsession, and his obsession in this case is catching his man. Completely realistic, again, like a new wave film,
but fantastic, well worth watching.
And top movie, top crime movie, really cool.
It's a big week in movie news, really, as cinemas are reopening here in the UK anyway. So it's a chance for us all to get back into the pictures and watch some of the films that have been talked about at the Oscars, that have won awards, that are just coming out. It's been a long time. I think it was probably September last year was the last time pictures were open, I think. So there's some big films we can go and check out the pictures. Are you excited for it, Greg?
Yeah, I'm excited for you. I'm not going. It's nice for anyone who is. The last movie I saw in the theatre was Tenet with you last summer. Yeah. I haven't been since. Everything else I've been watching on demand or just sort of like, older films, just ordered a copy of it. But yeah, all the films that we've reviewed over the last few months, Judas and the Black Messiah, Nomadland, Mortal Kombat, The Father, Minari, Sound of Metal, they're all getting that release on the big screen. I'm not sure I'd go and see any of them on the big screen, having already seen them. Maybe of all of those, I'd maybe go and see Judas and the Black Messiah, because it was probably the one I consider to be most impressive cinematically.
Yeah.
That might look good on a big screen. But no, I mean, I advise anybody who hasn't seen any of those films, if they fancy going to the theatre, go and check them out on the big screen. That'd be great, We've got reviews for all of those films on our website. We'll put links in the description below if you want to read them.
And there's plenty of films coming out, but I mean, a lot of these are films that are going to be coming out on demand as well. So they're films to watch either way. Cruella's obviously due out, and Space Jam: A New Legacy, which we're quite excited about. And this film, Freaky, have you seen about that? Yeah,
Vince Vaughn. It's kind of like a play on Freaky Friday, I believe. So instead of like a mum and a daughter swapping bodies, which happened in Freaky Friday, this is a young, teenage girl. She gets her body swapped with a serial killer played by Vince Vaughn. So you've got a 16-year-old girl in a serial killer's body and a serial killer in a 16-year-old girl's body. That's the setup.
So he's revisited his role from Psycho, the remake.
Yeah, he's stepping back into that Norman Bates kind of territory.
A boy's best friend's his mother.
There is a big one coming out with Those Who Wish Me Dead, the Taylor Sheridan film with Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, I'd go see that. That looks good. I like Angelina Jolie. I think she's very good leading actor. And Taylor Sheridan, of course, Hell or High Water, Wind River, stuff like that. Great writer and now becoming a great director as well. So I'd definitely be interested to go and see that one.
Of course, the big film that we're most waiting for, The Beatles Get Back.
Oh, yeah, I'd go and see that.
Due out this August.
Sure.
That's going to be very exciting. But I suppose the big kind of launch for the cinemas is going to be the end of the year, really. And that's when all these films that have been postponed for so long are finally going to come. Probably going to be on demand as well. Films like June.
James Bond.
Which we've been waiting patiently for. James Bond, No Time to Die, yeah.
You know, we've also got stuff like Top Gun Maverick, which we talked about in last week's weekly episode. That'll be coming. People have been waiting for that for a long time. One thing I found out about that yesterday as well is that apparently Val Kilmer is in it again, which I was quite astounded by, because obviously he's had like throat cancer in the last few years, and you know he's had his like tracheotomy or something, and he can't really talk properly like he used to be able to, but he really wanted to be in the sequel, and I think he spoke to the producers and they found some way for his character to be in it. So that's another thing about that film now that's made me think, I'd like to see what they've done there. I'd like to see
they've done,
and
yeah.
It's really great that Val's in it, I think, because you know, it would be very easy for producers to sort of, oh no, he's not been well, let's leave him out of it. But no, they've got him in and they've worked it in somehow. So good.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, good
it?
on him, and I'll be interested to see that.
You can be my wingman anytime. Bullshit. You can be mine.
And at the end of the year for Christmas, the King's Man is out, which is the third film. Is this now in the Kingsman?
I think this is like a prequel. It's based
right.
beforehand. You know, like the I think maybe what was his name? Colin Firth's character when he was a young man. And how he got into it. I might be wrong about that, but it's definitely set like in
that sounds familiar.
early
I think
20th century. I think has it got Ray Fiennes in it as well as his sort of mentor?
Well, to be honest, it sounds like it was all your fault.
And then, of course, there's a few films that we there's no release dates yet, but they're supposed to be the end of this year. We've got House of Gucci, which we've talked about.
That looks exciting. I'm not sure if it's one I'd go to the theatre to see, but it does look good.
And The Matrix 4 is penciled in.
Yeah, that is. I was quite surprised to find out that that's supposed to be coming out in December, because there's not been as much about that as there is about other stuff. And I kind of forgot the fact that they were making it, and then it came up the other day, and it was like, yeah, that might be up in December. And I thought, oh, right. What do you think about them doing another Matrix film, though?
It's going to be shit. I mean, come on. The second and third ones are crap. The only good Matrix is the original Matrix film. Yeah. I mean, the rest of it was dog turd, in my opinion. So I'm really not interested at all.
Yeah, it's a shame. I didn't think they were a complete turd. The second one was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one. And then the third one wasn't as good as the second one. The film I am most excited to see of all the films I've been waiting for. I mean, of course I want to see June. Of course I want to see No Time to Die. But the film of all films that I personally really cannot wait to see is The Green Knight, starring Dev Patel. It's an A24 production, and it's kind of like almost medieval, mystical kind of film, you know, like something like Excalibur or something like that. Goes back to that idea of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, that old story from the Arthurian times. Oh, yeah. And I watched the trailer when that came out probably a year ago now, and I just got so excited by it. I just thought it looks amazing, visually very stunning. Really like the casting choice there of putting Dev Patel in the lead role, and I just can't wait for it. And then for months and months, I've been looking at it and waiting for a release date to be confirmed. And now apparently it's coming out in July 30th. So if I haven't been back to the movie theaters before then, that will certainly be one I will definitely want to go back to.
That sounds like one to book in. That sounds good. I love Dev Patel, so...
he's really good, isn't he? But it just looks so good. It looks so stunning. I love A24. I think they do some great films.
They've done some great stuff, haven't they?
Yeah. Have you ever been to the movie theatre and left because the film was so bad. Have you ever done that?
No, I haven't actually. I've never actually done that because I usually give all films a chance. There's only one film I've ever sat down, put it on, and 20 minutes in, I turned it off and was like, "This is the worst thing ever." And it was a film on Amazon Prime last year. It was basically a white guy pretending to be a black woman on a radio station. It was so bad. It was excruciatingly bad. So after 20 minutes, I was like, "No, this is." I think that's the first time I've ever gone, "No, I'm not watching."
Well, watching films at home, in terms of turning them off, I don't have a problem with it. Like if I'm watching a film and after 10 minutes, I'm just like, oh God, unless someone's told me stick with it, it gets better, da 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 da. But in the movie theater, you're kind of committed. You've got dressed up, you've gone out,
paid your money.
Yeah, and it's a bit more. There's a bit more at stake than just sitting in the armchair in your boxer shorts. Doesn't matter if you turn it off and watch whatever you want. But when you go out, it's like it's a really difficult thing. So I imagine with some films, even if you're not enjoying them and stuff, you got to kind of stick with them because of the investment. I have done it myself. I was with two friends. We were only youngsters, but the film was so bad. We said, we're wasting our night staying watching the rest of this. So after about half an hour, we left. And that was The Saint, again, starring our man, Val Kilmer. Not one of his best films, unfortunately, or best performances. To this day, I've never seen the rest of what happened in that film. But it was like a remake of the old 1960s idea, you know, Simon Templar, and they did like a movie version of it. So the one and only time, and I hope it doesn't happen again because I'm not into wasting my money like that, but I had to leave. We just left.
I'm trying to think, to be honest, of the worst film I've seen at the pictures, and I can't think off the top of my head what is the worst. There must be one that's really bad.
Well, you usually, you know, you go and see films that you really want to see.
We went and watched The Last Jedi, and
I've seen that twice, man. First time I seen it, I enjoyed it. I remember coming out of the cinema and you were going, and we were all saying, no, it was quite good. It was all right.
Yeah, I remember coming out of that and just going, oh, fuck.
That's how I felt after the last episode 9. I thought, yeah, this is... So anyway, there we go. Theatres are back open. Are you going back?
I am. I'm supposed to be going tonight if all goes to plan and watch Terminator 2.
Terminator 2. Great. So yeah, Terminator 2 is playing at your local theatre. That's mad.
Yeah, I think they must be playing a bunch of old films.
I think they should do this all the time. I think they should. I mean, obviously they probably have problems with rights and all this stuff and everything. Yeah. But if they want people to go back and not just have to watch whatever is being released at the moment, why don't they put some of these old classics on?
You could have seen your face! Classic!
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, are you going to the cinema? Let us know in the comments below if you're going to be going out and what films you're going to be watching. And let us know what your worst film you've seen in the pictures is. That'd be interesting. Let us know in the comments.
And let us know if you've ever walked out of a movie in the theatre for any reason. Because I happen to know that Lyndon went to see The Cook, the Thief, his wife and her lover. And he just couldn't hack it. He was like, oh my God, I've got to leave it. And he bailed on that one. But apparently there was a warning with that one. So I'm not surprised there. But
not surprised.
Yeah, it must happen. Okay, this week, as usual, we have been busy on our website, moremovies.co.uk. So we put out a history post at the start of the week, which covers this week in film history. So if you want to know what's been happening in the film industry this week over the years, go and check that out. That's always good fun. We also got a top 5 Werner Herzog films. Do you like Werner Herzog, Dave?
I do.
Seen a lot of his films, have you?
No.
Didn't think so. Yeah, well, he should, because he's brilliant. And he's done a lot of films. See, this is the thing, doing our top 5 films, sometimes, like if David Fincher or something, he hasn't really done that many films. So to pick 5 out of 11 films or so, you know, not a problem. There's only 11. Someone like Werner Herzog, he's done over 50 films. He's like done 20-odd fictional feature films. He's done over 30 documentary feature films, and he's done a bunch of short films, fictional and documentary as well. So the guy has never stopped working. He's also an actor, and he's acted in stuff, and he does voiceover. He has also directed opera. So aside from film, so I don't know when he sleeps, but anyway, top 5 Werner Herzog, that's up on the website. Also, we've done a review for The Big Lebowski, Film in 5 review. All of these reviews are linked below in the description here. You can find them all on our website, so do go and have a look.
Yeah, great review for Big Lebowski there, and the video, of course, is up on our YouTube channel. Also on our YouTube channel is our reaction to the trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the new Venom film that's coming out shortly, so you can go and check that out. Link in the description below.
And come and join us on social media at More Movies For You. We're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things where we do silly things like the movie of the day.
Today's movie of the day is the highly recommended Wind River. Has nothing to do with wind, nothing to do with rivers, everything to do with being a damn good film. Now check it out, you bamba clot. No, please, no, not the remake. Today's movie of the day is a great World War II drama film. It concentrates on a German submarine boat crew during the Battle for the Atlantic. Directed by Wolfgang Petersen, I am of course talking about the 1981 classic, Das Boot.
And shout out to our friends on Twitter, especially Skip Bolden, who has provided this week's t-shirt. If you want a cool t-shirt like this, check out Skip at Skip Bolden on Twitter. One of the coolest people in the Twitterverse. Go and give him a follow. He posts loads of really cool stuff about movies as well. Go and buy a t-shirt from Skip.
That's about all we got time for this week. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and join us again next time for more on More Movies Weekly. That's it for this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and remember to like, share and subscribe right here on YouTube. For more film reviews and articles, why not check out our website moremovies.co.uk, and join us on social media at More Movies For You. That's across the board: Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you know the score. If you want to support us, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com, link in the description down below. And for more filmtastic content, click on one of the buttons on screen now.